you everyone for coming to our webinar today. The topic is March deadlines and due dates, things that are happening in March. So the first due date that we have is the ERC VDP. So that's the Earned Retention Tax Credit. And this is a program for people who received the credit and now realize that they were not eligible for the credit and they have to pay that money back. So there's a special withdrawal option for people who realized they weren't eligible and have not received and cashed their checks yet. So they have an option, but they set up this voluntary disclosure program for those who have already received and cashed their check, but now know that they were not eligible. So the program requires the employer, the taxpayer, to pay back the ERC that they received minus 20%, to respond timely to any IRS requests for more information, to provide information about anyone who advised or assisted with the claim, and to sign a closing agreement. So the remaining 20% that comes out of what you have to pay back isn't taxable as income. So taxpayers won't have to repay interest that they received on their ERC refund and don't need to amend income tax returns to reduce wage expenses. The IRS is not charging penalties or interest on the ERC repaid in full, and they will not audit your employment tax return for the period resolved by the ERC VDP. So the IRS is being uncharacteristically nice to you if you received the ERC and now know that you are not eligible for it. But you have to enroll in the VDP by March 22nd. You should probably take them up on this great offer if you are in this situation. Another deadline, so Michigan repealed their right to work law. So what a right to work law is the ability to people to in a union to work, to be covered by the union benefits without paying union dues. So labor groups argue that right to work hurts workers' ability to organize by reducing dues for unions who need money. They also claim wage growth is lower in states with right to work laws. Critics say the goal is a right to work. Business advocates say that the law helped economic development in Michigan. Labor says differently. This applies only to union shops in Michigan, but I included this. This takes effect on March 31st, and I included this because under the current administration, the power of labor has really grown. The labor rights has really expanded under the current administration. We don't know who the next or what the next administration is going to look like, but right now this is something that I'm not surprised about, and there's 27 other right to work states, so we'll see what happens. The New York Privacy and Data Security Law. So this is a law that says employers cannot ask employees for their username or their password on a social media account or a private password protected account. So there's no employers saying, let me ask you on, let me add you on Facebook. What's your Instagram? No, pull up your TikTok. I want to see what you've been up to. No asking for passwords. That's definitely out. If they use the account for work and you have notified them because you are using this to represent the business, you have no expectation of privacy in this account, and it may be monitored or searched at any time, then you can ask for the password and make sure they are doing their work properly, because then they have the option of continuing to use that account for both personal or business, or they can have one account for business and one personal account that the employer cannot see. But you do have to notify them if they're using it for work and personal, that they are being monitored and have no expectation of privacy. ACA electronic filing. You probably know at this point that you should be filing 1094Cs and 1095Cs and furnishing 1095Cs to your employees. At this point, you must file electronically, and you must strictly follow the IRS procedures for electronic reporting. This is if the ACA applies to you. The electronic ACA filing deadline usually lands on the last day of March each year, but March 31st, 2024 is a Sunday this year, so employers will have the extra day to submit their ACA information by Monday, April 1st. 2024, you get one more day. Historically, the deadline for distributing the 1095Cs to employee was January 31st, but the IRS always issued a 30-day extension, giving employers another month to comply. Late last year, they made that extension permanent. So you have a 30-day automatic extension, get that in. But because 2024 is a leap year, that extra day in February makes the deadline for furnishing ACA information to full-time employees Friday, March 1st, instead of March 2nd. It's usually March 2nd, but because it's the leap year, the extra day pushes it back a day. So furnishing to employees is going to be due on March 1st, 2024 this year. Pension and profit sharing contributions. If you are an S Corp or a partnership, or if you are an LLC taxed like an S Corp or partnership, if you want to deduct your contributions to profit sharing and pension plans on your federal tax returns, those contributions must be made by March 15th, 2024. So if you make a contribution to your employee's pension that you usually deduct on your federal income tax return, your state income tax return, you need to make that contribution by March 15th. So that is the deadline for making contributions. And OSHA, I think, unfortunately, we had this webinar just a little too late. For OSHA, you must use the ITA. Paper submissions are not allowed anymore. You can enter the data in 3 ways: the web form on the ITA, submission of a CSV file to the ITA, or an application programming interface feed. The reason for collecting the case-specific, establishment-specific data is to interact directly with these establishments through enforcement and outreach activities, and to address and abate the hazards and improve worker safety and health. And the same data will allow OSHA to better analyze injury related to specific industries, processes, or hazards. So that's why OSHA collects and publishes this data. There's also benefits to interested parties like the general public. They will have more informed decisions about workplace safety and hazards. But the deadline for submitting your Form 300, which is the log of all injuries and incidents, and Form 301, which is the incident report, it needs to be submitted to OSHA by March 2nd. So I'm sorry that we're a little past that date. If you haven't done it now, you should pick up on that, and you may be fined. I'm sorry about that. Form 300A, which is a summary of what's on the 301 incident report, should be posted in your work site for employees to see. Usually it needs to be posted for 3 months, and that should be from February 1st to April 30th. It should be posted no later than March 31st. So if you don't get it up in February, that's still okay. You have until March 31st to put that up. And employers with 10 or fewer employees or those in low hazard situations are exempt from reporting. So we ended a couple minutes early here. Usually I'm about 5 minutes late. But thank you all for participating in the webinar today, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.